we are live on YouTube. As I said before, if you get multiple introductions, subscribe on YouTube. So
There's many highs.
I'm Sophia. I'm the brand marketing manager at. Okay, co-host.
Not gonna go.
Co-host.
Yes, awesome. Hi everybody, I'm Francisco, Albornoz marketing manager at Kongregate, also known as the Game Hunter. Super happy to be here playing Diebrary.
Yes. And today we have a very special. Can you guess who it is? Introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Dan Eichler, and I work at Other Ocean. I am one of the designers for Diebrary, and super excited to be here with Kongregate today.
Thank you.
Awesome.
I wonder if anyone could guess who it was. Because if you didn't know, Diebrary just got like this huge update on Kongregate, and so we made a video. That was a little interview that I did with Dan and Goose. Also is one of the Ocean. And then we also did an article, so go check those out if you. But if you have questions about Diebrary, or just I guess what Dan's song is, ask in the chat. All right.
Everything counts. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm told that I'm lagging, which is unfortunate because I have plugged my computer directly into the whatchamacallit, the router. Uh-oh. I don't know why. I'm sorry, people.
You had the pixel art look, which it looks awesome.
There you go.
Oh.
TikTok filter.
Oh no. Did she use 3 VPNs and decide to video share it through Discord 3 times? Yes. Thank you for asking. Let's see. I'm gonna quit. I'm gonna see if I can close some tabs. I'm gonna close the Diebrary tab. Hey, at Adrian, I'm gonna close the Nightbot tab, so I hope you have that open. He's our little guy in the chair right now. And I'm gonna close YouTube because I can see the chat in another area. Okay, hopefully this is better now. After I've closed some tabs, I feel like I look great. I can see myself perfectly. I brushed my hair. I put on a nice shirt. I don't know why it's lagging, because my fashion has everything to do with whether or not it's lagging. But
Always looking good. That's important.
As always, get in the YouTube chat if you would like to win 100 creds. We roll twice during a live stream, and all you have to do is get in the chat, say hi, ask a question, answer a question, perhaps. Just say something in the chat every once in a while, because sometimes Nightbot forgets that someone said something every 15 minutes. I know. Short attention span. Whatever. Just keep saying hi to me. But you have the chance to win 100 creds if you do that. We also have a TikTok, which I'm sure y'all know that because I mention it every live stream, but I just really want you to follow me because on our TikTok, which is at It's Kongregate, by the way, I asked people how they discovered Kongregate, and we got some fun answers, and I want more answers. So let me know. Additionally, let's see. Right now we have the Diebrary faction fights going on in our Kongregate Discord. You can go join our Discord down in the description and join in the faction fights. And we also have Who's That Companion outlined to the Who's That Companion Discord channel yesterday. And you can bet that I will be putting my terrible art in with yours. So please, teach me how to do better art. Show me. And in other news, we have the newest games, Eliotopia. We have Tales from the Arcade Starship Murder, which we showed you a little sneak peek of before we had even featured it or anything or done any marketing toward it. So now you can actually go ahead and play that game. And then Best Bim is also a new game, which is really interesting. It's like a match 3 PvP game. Um, and it's real time PvP. You should go check it out. Go see what I'm talking about. And then, as you know, we're playing Diebrary today. Also, I was just told that the Diebrary achievements aren't working today. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
We had to do some downtime on the website. So make sure that you go annoy Adrian in the Discord if you see anything weird that's going on with Kongregate.com because of that. But I promise it's for good reasons. It's just because we're making sure that our whole website is up to date and functioning. So let us know if you see those things because we want to know like what's working and what's not working after we had to do some maintenance on the website. Anyway, Diebrary. Show off.
Hello. No, that's exaggeration, but let me see if I can show my screen so we can start playing some Divery. Super fun game. Love it. Huge fan of roguelike games. Divery is adding that extra layer of joining stories with changes in the game settings that makes the game so appealing. Actually, I have a question for Austin. Too many questions for Austin today. But the faction fight that we have in Divery, I'm not really sure how it works. I think you need to join a team and then get the maximum score. That would be fantastic to get to know because I'm really interested to join the faction fight, but I need to know what do we need to do. All right, so I'm gonna start playing in the meantime when you guys start talking about the amazing game that we have today, huh?
Yes. So let's see. Are you doing a community story? Yes, you are. Let's.
Yeah,
I'm.
I'm gonna create a community story, and then we can try. We're gonna try
Okay.
to jump in one of the other stories to see how difficult they are because they get super challenging, right?
Yeah. I was saying this earlier to Dan, but I really love Diebrary, but I'm not as much of a god gamer as Francisco is. So I finally the other day found a story that I can actually do. It like took me so long because usually I play a little bit and then I die. But I actually found one that I got really far in, so now I just keep playing it over and over so that I can get better.
Well, I think that is the beauty about roguelike games. Is there
Yeah.
is some struggle at the beginning, but then you get familiar with the game, get to know the perks, the characters, the special abilities, and things start changing real quick, and then you
Yep.
guys enjoy the game even more, right?
Yeah.
I'll
The thing,
give my pro tip for trying to make it through your first run if you're
yes,
struggling to get that win. Um,
yes, please.
so what I would recommend to do is create a solo story. I know it's not as fun as joining a community story, but that solo story isn't going to have as many of the crazy zany modifiers, and those things tend to make it quite a bit more difficult, like Francisco said. So join a solo story and just try to kill the first boss. If you kill the first boss, you get a bunch of the currency called Lost Scrolls, and you can use that to buy some really important upgrades. If you can get a hold of a piercing upgrade and you're using like the wand or the bow, you're really going to have a much easier time on your next run and you might be able to make it all the way through. So perks are the key. If you can't get the win, get that solo story, get a few perks, and then just try to tough it out.
Absolutely. And I have another tip. Always get the rats and the bees. They're so awesome.
I love,
They're so
yes,
cool.
I love the rats. I think that's like a really. I think like everybody loves the rats. Is that right?
They're amazing. I
Yeah.
mean, they
That
really help you a lot in the game. So
It's 100% correct. When we were thinking about what new weapons we wanted to make for the full release on Steam, we definitely wanted to include some new creature weapons. So We added fire fairies and phoenix bombs.
Wow.
And so both of those, are creatures. The bees, people love the bees. The rats are definitely the most popular and well-known weapon in the game.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Because I
So cool.
remember, which is why I named the live stream, like, how many rats will it take for us to survive in Diebrary? Because, like, I remember when Diebrary first came onto the platform, um, I think it was right around GDC earlier this year in
Yep.
March, something like that. And so I was at GDC live streaming and I just like kept talking about Diebrary and I was like, there's rats in it and there's rats in it. I was just like, I don't know why. I was just like so obsessed with the rats. I think rats are cute. So
That- They're really amazing. They help you a lot, especially when you start playing for the first time. Having
yeah.
those little friendly thingies going on,
Yep.
super,
Yeah.
super useful.
Yep.
Sophia, have you
Seriously.
heard the origin story of the rats?
No, and I would really love to. I did see like I went on your guys' TikTok last night because I was making some TikToks about like how well one about like how did I discover Congregate, but also about the live stream today. And I saw that you guys do have a TikTok as well.
Yep.
And I saw some videos about the rats, and I was like, yes.
All right, well, I'll tell
What's
you
the
the story
origin story?
because it's quite interesting. So one of our artists um, had a bug in another video game. It was, I don't remember what it was. It was like a 3D RPG game or something like that. But she went into town and she went into this back alley and these rats started coming out. And it wasn't just one or two or five. It was literally the game had bugged out, and there was an endless stream of rats just walking in a parade line out of this alley out into the street. And it just kept going forever. Like I don't know why or how this happened, but just infinity rats. And so when we were talking about ideas for different weapons and stuff early on in the process of developing Dieberry, she's like, we should do something with rats. There's this bug, and she showed us the clip because she clipped it. She had it on video, and we watched the clip. It was hilarious. We're like, oh yes, we can do this. We can make a weapon based on rats, and there you go.
Nothing like
That's
a cool story, right?
That's amazing. I so when we did the interview together, I felt like okay, a few live streams back, we did one where we were talking to one of the developers for one of the games, and then another developer ended up showing up, and we started kind of just talking in general about what it's like to like like where to find like that inspiration for your game. And it's really interesting to hear all these different stories about like you can really find inspiration for your game in so many different places. Some people find inspiration by playing games that they really love. Some people find inspiration by playing games that they hate and then being like, I know how I could make it better. And some people find inspiration in glitches and a bunch of rats coming out.
Yep, yep.
But during our interview, you also had been talking about the book report and where you kind of got some inspiration for that. And I really love that the book report like goes so well in the theme of the game too. And so I was wondering if you can tell our audience more about that because I didn't add it in the video, and I may have added it in the article that we did, but I would love for you to talk more about that again.
Sure. So, like most games, we had a code name for our game for a long time, and we hadn't settled on the Dieberry theme. But when we were thinking about what the name was for this game, Dieberry just felt so right because it was kind of like, a little bit of a parody name. It wasn't too serious, and the game itself is not serious. I mean, there's rats. Look at all those rats. How many rats is that? That's insane. It's like 40.
I have no idea.
But So once we selected the name Diebrary, it just fits so well with a lot of the mechanics because the story is like an ever evolving plot, and so like the plot twist kind of made sense. Like like in the code base we call those things mutators because the whole goal is just to like mutate the game and how it works. So basically, once we selected that name, we tried to look at all the different mechanics and think about like how could we loop in the theme with the mechanic name, and we didn't want to go too overboard on it. Like some things, I think like perks, they had like a special name, and you would go to the archives to buy perks and things like that. But it was like too confusing. It just didn't stand out. So while some things like book report worked really well because after you read a book, after you read a story, you write a book report. Other things, we just try to keep it simple. Just call it perks. Don't try to make up a fancy name. We want people to know that, oh, this is like where I go to buy upgrades. Because this genre of game, you go in, you get a bunch of currency, and then you go buy some upgrades. So it worked for some things and less so for others. But that's kind of where book report came from. We were just trying to think like, how do we tie that into the storybook theme? And it just seemed natural to us.
Yeah, that's really cool. I love it. And the other thing is like, I didn't actually realize that they legitimately look at like all of, like the book reports, and you were talking about how you like take all of that data from the book reports and then you're able to balance the game and see what people like and what needs to change. And I thought that was really cool because I was doing it and I was kind of thinking like, I don't know what other people do with those, the data that like comes from doing that. And it made me feel special, so thank you.
Well, I actually after the interview that we had, 2 days later, we actually went in and looked at some book report numbers because we were making adjustments to some of the plot twists. And as you know, like some of them can be so hard. Like hardcore survival is just infamous. And in fact, on the Kongregate faction fight, on chapter 2, hardcore survival showed up as a vote, and we were all like, "No, don't pick it, please don't pick it," because it just make the story so hard. So we looked at that book report data to look at what plot twists people were associating with words like frantic or confusing or just way too difficult. And so we've actually made some balance changes that are going to come out in a future update in a few weeks or a month. That fixes some of these plot twists and improves them and stuff like that. So that's like an example, just 2 days after that interview, where we used that book report data again. So it's
That's
really been
awesome.
helpful.
That's
So
awesome.
another thing is like I whenever whenever I choose the rats. So again, this is like before I realized like how deeply you were looking at these book reports. Whenever I would do the rats, I would always just click cheesy because I was like, rats like
Because rats.
cheese. So now I'm wondering, like, I don't know if other people do that, but like, what does that tell you? Like, if someone says cheesy, what does that say to you?
Cheesy's kind of one of those for fun ones, just like Clown Fiesta. Francisco Gretz on the win. Big win. Excited to see the score. But Cheesy's one of those where it's just like sometimes people might pick it for a really OP build, if they are just like gunning down the entire screen and no enemies can even get to them. We see a lot of Cheesy. But other than that, it's kind of just like a throwaway for fun thing. We wanted to include some of those so it wasn't just like, serious by the book, like
Yeah,
feedback. So all of them are kind of cheesy, funny names. I'm OP, stuff like that.
yeah, I do like that.
Dang,
That makes sense.
74,000. Nice work.
See what I'm
It was fun.
saying?
It was fun.
This is what I'm talking about. I'm like, Francisco just like plays a game for the first time and is like perfect at it, but then
I
like,
love video games. Roguelike games are have like a special place in my heart because
yeah.
they're challenging. They make you grind. They make you come back for more. It's like okay, the tougher the game, the better it gets. So that's something I enjoy so much. So Diver in particular. Well, some of the stories are just crazy bananas. I mean,
Too
I
crazy.
start playing and all of a sudden things start spamming from everywhere.
Yep.
But
Yeah.
that's the
Yep.
beauty about the game, right?
So I wanted to mention some of these chat messages that I'm seeing because I hadn't had the time to actually look at them. I usually am playing the live stream in another tab so I can take part a little bit more easily in the chat. But I know that y'all were saying that I was kind of like lagging a bit, so I stopped. But I wanted to make sure I still like went in and said hi to y'all. But Plan is to Run said I played a lot of Diebrary, and I have to say you guys improved it a lot. So, yay! Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's good to hear that.
Hey, Daniel, there is any uh, like fun story behind when you guys pick the main characters of the game? Because, for example, when I see the con dog, I laugh so much because it reminds me when you have a dog and they got surgery and they start using the con of shame. So,
Yep. Yep. Um,
okay.
so I think we might have covered this in some of the interview or article, but Diebrary started. We had a bunch of assets and things that we had created for another game, and that game is not currently published. And we, for a variety of business reasons, I won't get into that, but we wanted to reuse some of those assets, and basically all of them have been changed. Like nothing has been unscathed. It's all been touched by the Diebrary theming and stuff like that. But one of them was this like thorny wolf character, and woo, that's rough.
That was rough.
And one of our programmers, actually, who does some of the design work, he wanted to create this cone dog. He had it in his mind. He was like, we could put a cone on the dog. We can make him chomp stuff. His chomp can get bigger as he kills stuff. So he literally just went and coded the whole thing in a few days. The whole character, all the abilities, the growing chomp size, the thorns that come out, and all this stuff. And we laughed so much when the concept art for this came out, like because one of our artists, he's like, "Oh, I can do that. I could do that for sure." Cone dog, and it was amazing. So yeah, that's like a crowd favorite. The cone dog, definitely. I think it's the funniest character for sure. All of them have kind of funny names like Barbarian and Elfin Ranger. So it's all kind of a parody, but Cone Dog definitely takes the cake.
He was actually voted head cone at his office, so.
There you go. Crazy.
Oh no, you're
Also,
trapped.
Someone was like, I don't want to join cringe talk. Okay, here's the thing about cringe talk. Don't join cringe talk, or do, I don't know. But here's the thing. I'm full genuine. I don't care if it's cringe. I'm going to be myself. Look, I'm wearing like a 90s skater shirt right now with smiley faces that are melting. I'm full cringe and I'm okay with that. I'm on TikTok. Yep. That's what it is. You know what? I like what I like. And I like TikTok.
I was resistant to TikTok too, but I've come around. I like it quite a bit. I think I get a lot of interesting videos because the algorithm is really, really good. It's really good at figuring out what you like and really good at offering you some new stuff. Not all the new stuff is good, but you can just ignore it. Just skip it.
Yeah, exactly. And then it'll know. Okay,
Yep.
don't show this anymore. Yeah. Absolutely. It's funny because like I made a new TikTok by accident. And it was like showing me stuff and I was just like, okay, no, like this is boring or like I'm not into this or whatever. But now it's like my new TikTok is basically the same as my old TikTok because it's like it just figured out what I liked. Which is like Hank Green and like cozy gaming videos and stuff like that.
Yep.
Yeah. Francisco, what happened?
We have
Did,
a Diebrary accident, but we are
oh,
back.
okay. Got it. Got it.
There was so much
um.
crazy on the screen.
Oh, I see.
We,
I
we
see.
can find another story. Yes, yes.
Um. So one of the things I also wanted to mention about roguelikes is at first I was scared to play roguelikes and roguelites because I I would get really nervous playing games in front of other people because I'd be like, oh, everyone's gonna know that I'm bad at games, right? And of course, now I'm like, let's go full cringe. It doesn't matter if I'm bad at games. If I like them, I'm gonna play them. But I would be like scared because it would be like, you know, I am gonna look like I don't know what I'm doing in front of people, but I love playing games. And I remember I have this memory of being in college and we set Skyrim up with some mods to basically make it into a roguelike.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, where we just go as far as we could on this
Uh-huh.
hardest difficulty and just see what would happen. We just time ourselves, see how far we could get into Skyrim at this level. And I was like, this isn't as bad because everyone else is doing bad too. It's not just me. And sometimes I would get I would just kind of get lucky with it and I would be able to last longer. And later I realized that's called a roguelike. And so I started getting into roguelike games and I realized I actually really like them because they make me feel more confident because everyone is dying and having to start over. It's not just
Yep.
me.
Everybody struggle at the same level, so it's
Yeah,
good.
Yep.
exactly.
I love how all the characters are so different. Sometimes it takes me a game or two to remind myself, okay, that's how I'm supposed to play with this character. With the barbarian is full aggressiveness. It's just go and start dodging attacks. But with this one, for example, you have to be a lot more precise, especially if you use a weapon like the bow, which is a lot more uh, tactical than some others in the game. So
Yep.
I love it. Just so much fun.
That's good. That's good.
You can get out of trouble. It's too
I
many enemies.
I think my like for the roguelike genre, or my love for it, I suppose, came actually from the weirdest place. Um, I'm a big MOBA fan, for better or for worse. And I what I love about MOBAs is in the span of 30 minutes, you go from this level one puny, weak thing to having all these items, all these, maxed out abilities, ultimates, things like that. And roguelike genres is the same exact thing. It's like you go from zero to hero in this short time session, which as an adult and now a parent, I need that time. I need that quick time, just sit down for a quick 20-minute game type experience. And
Yeah.
so that's kind of what I love about roguelites. And then also that you can kind of play a different build or a different style every time. If you get bored of, in Diebrary, if you get bored of being the barbarian with the wand, swap over to the boomerang or try out the cone dog or something like that. And
Yeah.
the play style can be different each time. So that's kind of where my love for this genre came from.
Yeah. That makes
And
sense.
yeah, and it's completely different experience when you play with the spear. In this case, with the bow, it's like a complete new game. That's what I found fantastic. And as
Yeah.
Daniel was saying, there's nothing better about roguelike games that you need to come back and try something new. I mean, this one worked out. All right, let me try this character now with this combo and see what happens. And then you
Yep.
start finding some really cool combinations.
Um,
Some of the best builds in this game, that the community has found, especially some of the folks on Kongregate, some of the gamers there, don't even use the primary weapon very much at all. They just get the secondary weapons and max those out as quickly as they can, and they're
oh,
just popping off.
interesting.
It's pretty
I,
interesting.
I
That
think the
is.
reason, yeah, I think the reason is the primary weapon give you a penalty in movement, while the secondary doesn't.
Yep.
So probably that's the main. Actually, I found myself just looking for bees and rats all the time. I know it sounds super weird, but that's what I do in the game,
I'll have
especially
to
if you use
try
the
that.
bow.
I
Yeah,
haven't
it's super
tried that
useful.
yet. Yeah, usually I'm like last night I tried the spear out, and I usually just so far I've just like tried doing like the normal like the first picks because I'm just like again I'm just like trying to get better at it.
Hmm.
But last night I was like I felt like I was doing good enough to actually try out some new ones. So I did the spear and I noticed I was like okay I am like slowing down when I do this because I feel like before I was just kind of like so like I was frantic so I
Hmm.
wasn't like noticing that and I was like okay interesting so then I had to be more strategic about like when I used it and so now I want to try now I want to try doing it with mostly just using like the secondary things and not even using the primary weapon. I
Yeah.
haven't done it.
Yeah,
Okay,
Francisco makes a great point. Like not
yeah.
having to slow down to shoot is huge. It's a really big advantage. I'll also say
Yes.
the spear on the far left tree, if you go down the far left tree, you actually unlock the ability to jump with every single stab. So you actually start going faster with the spear than with any other weapon in the game because you can just jump around. It's crazy. It's like you're just
Yeah.
jumping every time you attack.
You know, if I found adorable the pets. The pets is a really cool addition to the game. Um Having that mission to save them is like another extra purpose. It's not just surviving. It's like okay, I gotta rescue them all. It's just I have another duty. One of the pets in particular, I don't know if it's coincidence, but for me it got that look similar to Magikarp, the Pokemon. And I remember when I was recording a Diebrary video the other day, I called it like that. I was like Magikarp, and then it was when I was editing the videos, like Magikarp. Really? What did I just say? And it actually looked like him.
You know, I've never thought of that before. His name is Rotsun, but he does kind of look like a
Yeah.
Magikarp. That's that's wild.
So now that we're about 33 minutes in, let's roll. So, Adrian, are you
Whoa.
ready? I'm going to count down. So make sure you get in the chat. Make sure that you've chatted in the last 15 minutes at least so that you have the chance to win 100 creds. And then give us your Kongregate username because if you don't have a Kongregate username, we can't give you creds. But it's totally okay if you're like, I don't have a Kongregate username and you go make one. That's totally fine. Go make one.
Yes.
Tell us the username. We'll give you the creds. All right. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Roll. Okay. Let's go.
Need like a soundboard with an like a MLG air horn or something. Ba, 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 ba.
Make me nervous. The calm down. Playing a roguelike game. It's like okay, what is happening? What is happening? New boss? What is coming?
All right. I'm not seeing it yet, so we must be really lagging.
Anytime, any second.
Hello?
Nice. There you go.
Oh, goodness.
Play with the bow is really a challenge. I definitely need to have more either speed or more secondary attacks because it's so difficult to get out of trouble. Especially those kamikaze, the red ones. They're so fast. It's
Okay.
so difficult to get out of trouble.
Now it's showing the winner. So
Yay!
there was a pretty big like lag there it looks like. But Plan is to Run has won the giveaway. Congrats with a K. Kong rats. Oh my god.
Nice.
That worked perfectly.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, I just went in the chat and I said Kong rats, so that was an
Congrats.
accidental joke. Like I am very proud of it, but it was accidental.
It was perfectly placed.
Yeah.
This chapter got a little bit difficult here with the.
Francisco, would you like to join a special story?
I can
Ooh.
try it. Yeah.
All right. You'll have to archive one of your stories because it looks like you're maxed out. You got all 15 right now.
Okay.
So do find story by ID, and I'll paste you here in the chat a link,
Perfect.
and you could just paste that right in there, and it should allow
The
you to
same
join
link?
this special story.
Wait,
Okay.
are we allowed to share this with everyone else in the chat?
You
if they
sure
want
can.
to-
You sure can.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna share it,
Great.
y'all.
All right. This is scary. Why do you want me to join this adventure in particular?
Okay, so this one. All right, so one of the big things we wanted to do with this game is, as you know, we've got a full release on Steam, and so you could go buy it right now. But we wanted to make sure that friends could still play together no matter what. So I actually created this story on Steam using the new map. It's the mountain map, so you'll be able to play on the brand new map. Um, and any of the Kongregate players that are in the chat right now, you can join in on this link that they're going to post, and it'll be the new map that's technically only available in Steam, but because
Oh
you can
my
play with your
God.
friends.
Thank
Oh
you so
yeah,
much. That's so cool.
and that was part of the update was that now you can play those stories. You can like
Yep.
play on.
The crossplay.
Oh, the map is really small. You got me nowadays.
Oh
It
wow,
is. So you're
that's
at the
so
bottom of the mountain.
interesting.
You're at the bottom, and you can go up.
That is so cool. I need bees and rats. That's all. That's all I need now. Stay alive. This is so cool. I love the enemies. What are they? They use like a bear hat or something?
Yes. My favorite enemy is on this map. You'll probably see it a little bit later, but I think it is the funniest of the enemies.
Nice. They look like a little Sasquatch. They're trying to get you. Scary. Like, Nicholas Cope, I feel like is very powerful. And I was reading some of the comments from the community that they also think that is one of the weapons that you must get because of the area they can cover. What do you think, Daniel?
I think it has been so we can look at the highest scoring runs of all time, and the highest scoring runs of all time have over 400,000 score, and they use Nicholas Scope, Tesla coil, and poison bottles. Now,
Okay.
it is worth noting that we did do some adjustments to those weapons in the most recent update, so they're not quite as strong, and we brought some of the other weapons up, like rats and bees and such. But yeah, it is a very powerful weapon, and because you get an extra beam with every projectile, you can cover a lot of area. So
Is
It's so cool that you can get data from the players by
Yeah.
and also find some new combinations just by people trying new combos, and that's something that you love so much about roguelike games. You see the community like engaging with the rest. It's like, you know what, try this loadout. This one is gonna help you to beat this level in particular. I just love it. It's so much
yeah,
fun.
there's that enemy, that snowball. I just love that snowball. It's so big.
And cute at the same time. I feel like I
It
want
is
to hug.
somehow.
That's amazing.
are there certain upgrades? Or wait, what am I trying to say? Okay, playing do different come up, or is it random, or
It's random, but the way it works is like if you've chosen a weapon, then you're slightly more likely to get like the future upgrades for that weapon. So, it might be like a smaller chance to just unlock that weapon in the first place, but as you go down that tree, like those later upgrades will show up a little bit more often.
yeah?
Um,
Okay, that makes sense.
And then there are a few upgrades that are like very rare, that don't show up. Other ones, they're weighted down a little bit. But I won't share which ones those are.
Okay.
Some of them are
Sounds
just
good.
designed to just, show up here and there, and you're like, oh, wow, that's cool.
Interesting.
I got this one that's kind of rare.
I'm being attacked by a Narnia radioactive polar bear. That really scare me in a small map.
The armored bear trope is a good. It's a good trope.
That's so cool. Let me see if I can get an extra ammunition. Yeah, extra ammunition is always useful.
What's your favorite primary weapon, Francisco?
Rats, primary weapon, the boomerang. I think the boomerang is so cool, having that back and forward effect, so you can cover more ground. Is fantastic. But
Awesome.
my favorite character is the barbarian.
Yep.
So I like to be in close combat, feel the heat, feel like I'm gonna die any second.
Yep.
So using the spear is fantastic too.
Wow, that's amazing. I am also a barb and or barb and boomerang fan. Those are my favorites.
There
Ah,
you go.
I don't know
Can't
if
go
I've
wrong
really
with
tried the
those.
boomerang too much.
It's a good if you haven't gotten a win, it's a good weapon, but I think you have to unlock it first. And I don't actually remember how you unlock it. Maybe you buy it with
Hmm.
Lost Scrolls or
No,
something like that.
yeah, I think so. I think it's just buying it with scrolls. Yeah.
Hmm.
And you know what? That part is also interesting. I found myself spending a lot of time just trying to make sure that the perks that I'm gonna unlock are the ones that are gonna help me the most in the game.
Hmm.
And I think that tactical part is also really cool about the Diebrary, that you really need to find, okay, well, let me see my game style. Is this the kind of upgrade that probably I'm going to use the most? And yeah, you definitely spend some time when you're trying to unlock a new perk, just
Yep.
because getting the scrolls and everything is sometimes it's difficult. So it's always amazing to find the best possible way to take advantage of those, right?
Hmm.
Let's see, there's chocolate fuse
You want
now.
me to tease a new update?
Yes.
Oh, please do.
It's related to this exact topic of getting some more scrolls and getting some more
Okay.
scraps. Um,
Nice.
we're actually adding a difficulty system to the game. And so you'll be able to select a higher difficulty story. And those higher difficulty stories, obviously, they're going to be harder, but you'll get a lot more currency for playing on those as well. So for anybody out there who thinks that Diebrary is too easy, which we have gotten that feedback quite a bit, there are some
I'm
real god
jealous of
gamers
those
out there.
people.
Um, you'll be able to play on that higher difficulty, and we think you'll enjoy it quite a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the first time I played Diver is like okay, okay, I love the game, but I feel like I finished the game too fast. I mean, the first time trying it.
Yep.
Well, of course, that was before trying all the different stories, but adding
Yeah.
difficulty, that's amazing. That's kudos. Kudos to the team.
Yeah.
Great idea. I love this map.
So, what are some of the plot twists that have made the stories like particular? Or I guess what I kind of want to know for me, but also for people like that who are like, "Oh, too easy." What plot twist would you like recommend for someone who is maybe starting out, or for someone who is a god gamer like Francisco and needs more?
Okay. Yeah, I think I have a couple suggestions. So if you're just starting out,
Hmm.
I would say look for plot twists like um, stuff related to blimpies is kind of fun because you can get like the blimpies, which are those kind of big circular enemies that are yellow that explode.
Yeah.
You can get them to be super huge and you can shoot them to like take out a huge amount of enemies around them. So that can be really helpful. You can get these really big blimpies and then just blow up like 20 enemies at the same time just by shooting them. So that can actually help you on your run do better. There's also some pet ones that can get you like more pets. So if you really like the pet play style, which we tried to add some upgrades, so you can actually we have done in testing pet only runs where basically we just try to get as many pets as possible. We don't upgrade our weapons. We don't get weapons at all.
Oh my gosh.
It's hard to start, but once you get several like aggressive pets and they have like faster attacks and stuff like that, they really start to like just kill enemies in mass. So
Wow.
any of the pet plot twists are pretty good for new players as well. And then any plot twist that adds enemies actually adds more experience. So it sounds more difficult because you're like, oh, there's so many enemies on the screen. But if you can gain more levels quickly, especially in the early game, like you can become that super powerful, all your weapons going off at the same time a lot sooner. So,
Oh, I didn't think about that, but that makes a lot of sense.
and then for anybody who doesn't know this, if you go to the find stories section, you can actually search for a story that has the specific plot twist that you want. So if you want to play with like one specific plot twist, just go in there and search for one. And then if you want to play like a low chapter story, just bump the chapters down, just search for chapter 1 through 3 or something. Get something easy that has the fun plot twist that you want to try and just play that. That's what I would recommend.
Yeah.
As far as hard plot twists, my goodness, there's definitely a few that stand out because we recently updated their descriptions to say right at the front of the description, like this one's hard or this one's brutal. And so the first place award goes to Hardcore Survival, which gives you a freaking stamina bar. And if you move too much, you run out of stamina and then you're like slowed down until the bar regenerates. It's horrifying. It's very painful.
All right, Francisco, do that one.
Francisco, don't do it, man. Don't do it.
You don't understand. I need like Francisco and I to compete, but like on different levels.
Right. I see. That's the handicap for Francisco.
Yeah.
He's got to play with Hardcore Survival.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of the things that Daniel mentioned is something super cool. That is in roguelike games in general, especially if somebody just start playing games like this, when they see an upgrade that is increasing the amount of enemies, you might say, no, why is that even an upgrade? And then you realize when you start playing more, it's like, yes, the more enemies, more XP, I can grow faster, and then is when you start getting that extra magic in the roguelike games. So it's so cool.
Yep.
It's just very nice. I love it. Demanding.
Great job on the win.
That was a nice level. You got me with a small map. I was like ready to just start walking around, walking in the sunshine, and then all of a sudden, hey, there's bosses in here.
That's pretty funny. So just as a little recap, because I see that a couple people were saying that they came back to the live stream and then all of a sudden there was snow on the ground. Yes, so that was one of the cross-play levels. So you can play, if you like you can like play the stories that other people can play on Steam. So this map is available on Steam. However, you can also now on Kongregate play some of those same stories, and so you do in a way have access to some of those maps on Kongregate as well.
Yep.
That's cool.
And we're trying to do that with like pretty much all of the content that is, shared in a story. Like allow everybody to play together. Don't force everybody who's playing for free on Kongregate to have to go buy the game if they don't want to or don't have the money. Like we really wanted to keep everybody in mind, from free players to paid players. So
Thank you.
That's the key. Thank you. We appreciate that.
Let's see. Okay, Adrian is roasting me. I think that's something you learn from playing a lot of these reverse bullet hell games. More enemies equals more money equals more power. Mwahaha. Yeah, evil laughed because he's evil. No, just kidding. He's not here. He's not in the stream to defend himself, so I can't make fun of him as much. And I also have to, not pretend like I forget his name. When he's on the stream, I just call him that one guy or that one CM or something like that.
Adrian also mentioned that pickup range is a stat I think new players sleep on. 1000%, Adrian. You are absolutely right. Pickup range is OP. I would actually recommend that to be your first perk that you buy. Just get a couple ranks in pickup range, because being able to get your EXP without getting run over that's what's going to give you the level ups to actually make it through a run.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah, that's very true. I've been using that one more often lately, which is probably why I've actually been able to like do pretty well the last few days. Also, one of the like plot twists, I think that's what it was that I used, was the one where like you kind of like turn invisible for a second and you can't shoot the enemies, but the enemies also can't hurt you during that time. So that's a really good time to be able to go pick up a bunch of XP that you weren't able to get before.
Yep.
Or run away.
Or run away.
Or run
We
away.
actually we rated that one as a hard plot twist when we were
Really?
yeah, it's weird because you can get all your EXP that's on the ground because you can just run through all the enemies, grab it up real quick. But at the same time, like you're not gonna kill as many enemies in the run because you just can't shoot for like 10 seconds,
I-
Yeah, that's a
I'm
good
with
point
you.
too.
I'm with you, Daniel. Every time that I come across that plot twist, it's like, why am I not killing enemies? I need XP. I need money. And yeah, you really start losing like that momentum going. So
Yep.
Yeah.
I
definitely
got,
hard for me.
I got to tease one last thing, I think.
Okay.
Nice.
Um,
Keep
and it's
going.
related to plot twists, and we're really excited about this one. So we're going to add even more new plot twists, but this time we're adding positive plot twists as well. And
Oh.
so what'll happen is every I'm going to get this backwards, I know it, but every even chapter you're going to get a positive plot twist, and every odd chapter you're going to get one of the existing ones that are generally like more difficult or more zany. And so I'll give a couple examples of some positive ones. So one of them is at level 9, gain a completely random boss upgrade. So
Whoa.
those same upgrades that you get for killing bosses. Now
Uh-huh.
those can be pretty double edged, right? Like you could get something that's totally weird for your build, but it's all about like at level 9 you have to adapt to whatever you get, whatever crazy thing. There's another plot twist. At level 20, gain +1 split. And as you know, if you've gotten split before, it's really strong for a lot of weapons, especially stuff like wands and bows.
Yeah.
Like this one. In color. Yeah.
So we're adding a ton of new plot twists. If you like the magnet power up in games like these, which I mean, who does not like to just suck up all the EXP on the screen? There's one that makes every 300th Shambler enemy into a giant one, and then he'll drop a magnet on the ground. So basically, every 300 Shamblers, you get a free magnet.
Love it.
So
That's gonna
we're
be
super
fun.
excited about that plot twist change.
Yes, I can't wait. I can't wait to see. I mean, this is definitely one of my favorite games. Like I play this one probably the most on Kongregate out of the ones that we've published from other developers, and it, Bran Stark also said that's one of the people. It's not like the person from Game of Thrones. It's one of the usernames. They said this game is awesome. It's my second most favorite game on Kongregate, and yeah, this one's definitely up there for like so many people, and like including people in the company. Like Francisco and Adrian and I are like playing this one pretty often.
Yeah.
And
For
also,
marketing purposes. That's
yeah,
what we
yeah.
say during the day.
We're doing what did we call it? Product testing.
Product testing, yes.
And I wanted to, because Bran Stark mentioned, like favorite games on Kongregate. I want to roll for creds again since we're almost at time, and for people who want to participate in the roll, where you get 100 free creds if we roll your name and then give us your Kongregate username, we can give those to you. I haven't decided what game I want to live stream next week, and so I want you to tell me what games you think that we should live stream with Adrian and I. So let us know. Games, maybe. Do you want us to play, and then we'll roll. All right.
That's a difficult question.
I know there's so many to choose from. but I hadn't decided yet. I have some in mind, but I want to see what people say and then see if any of those line up with what I had in mind or not. Yeah. So, oh God, I forgot what I was going to say already.
No worries.
See,
I
this
have two
is
magic carps.
Double
yeah.
magic carp.
Two magic carps.
So what you're saying is we need to add pet evolutions next.
I was gonna
Ooh.
mention if there's any way to fuse the pets away.
Oh, pet fusion. Now we're
Ooh.
talking.
That would
That
be
would be
Brent
cool.
Stark gave me an idea for a new weapon just on this live stream, which is
What?
like a three-eyed raven, but with googly eyes.
Oh, I
oh,
like that.
good idea.
Actually, that's like one of my favorite little emojis in here. Adrian, yes, you get a vote. But you don't. But that doesn't enter you in to win the creds. Let's see.
See,
Okay.
product testing.
People said Galaxy Control and Merge's Kingdom. Okay, Galaxy Control was one of the ones that I was thinking of because I know that there's a ton of people who are like, Galaxy Control, Galaxy Control. I
Like
usually
that?
just get told what we're playing. That's true. I just tell Adrian what we're playing. But this time, you can actually have a say. I'll let it slide this one time. Oh yeah, Daniel,
Yeah.
what are your favorite Kongregate games?
Oh man. So I'm not sure when I joined Kongregate. I think probably like it's been at least 10 years. It's been a long time that I've been on Kong.
Yeah.
And I would say that I am kind of an idle game degen. So I
Okay.
love idle games. Don't tell my boss. Sometimes I'll have an idle game open at work.
Good
Yeah,
idea.
So
me
Kongregate has
too.
had a ton of amazing idle games over the years. Synergism and Reactor Idle.
Mhm.
Trimps is great. Realm Grinder. So I love a bunch of those games.
Mhm.
Uh, it's hard to pick a favorite though. I don't know. I would have to say probably Synergism.
Yeah.
It's a great idle game.
All right. I
Not so great to live stream though. I would not, I would not recommend. Not very engaging.
maybe what we should do is just like open a ton of idle games
Just
and
like
just like
20.
yeah, and just like go through each of them.
We should do a marathon of idle games. Yeah.
Yeah. I was playing one like a couple weeks ago, and I was really enjoying it, and then I like lost it. It was really weird. I just like all of a sudden I couldn't remember the name of it. I'm like, what game was it? So I'm gonna have to like figure out what game that one was because I was having fun with it. But also incremental cubes. That one's really fun too if you haven't tried that one out.
It
And
is
that
fun.
one's
Yes.
been pretty popular.
I think that's the most recent idle game I played actually. I just started playing it a couple weeks ago.
Yeah. All right, so
Cool.
I'm gonna roll because it's 10:59 and apparently we're super delayed. So, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, roll! Thank you everyone for answering that question.
Oh,
Um,
by the way, another good idle game that we have in Congregate is Forge and Fortune. You can
Yes.
ask,
yeah.
yeah, you can ask Austin. He told me, oh, well, I'm not a big fan of idle games.
Yeah.
In the next day, he sent me a
Mhm.
message, dude, that game is so good.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think Elle also really liked that game too. I remember her saying something like,
Yes.
yeah. All right. It is, let's see, do we have, no, we don't have a winner yet because this is how, this is how delayed we are. How is this happening? Oh yeah, literally Adrian just said, don't forget Fortune Fortune.
There you go.
That's so funny. All
Yep,
right,
yep.
Adakor Rahman has won the giveaway. Congratulations. You win
Congrats.
100 creds. Have we gotten all the usernames? I guess we already have Plan Is to Run's username, and let's see if we can get Atakoraman's username as well. Oh, someone else just said Kong. Oh wait, was that you?
Yes.
That's
It's brilliant,
funny.
Sophia. That's brilliant. I'm going to use it every day.
Thank you. I'm glad that I'm finally being recognized for my brilliance.
That's right. That's right.
All right, it is 11:01 a.m. Pacific time. It's a different time your time. I mean, I don't know what time it is in your time, but like it's probably different because there's so many different ones that really everyone could be anywhere but here. So we are going to close out, but
Can I keep
Dan,
playing?
you're allowed to keep playing.
Thank you.
Dan had mentioned during our interview that he really likes to see everyone's, you know, words,
Feedback.
about the game. So if you're on Kongregate, you know, leave comments, rate people's, you know, like things, like do the book reports, like definitely participate in that because like the game will only get better like with your input. And like as he said, like, you know, 2 days after our interview, he like went back and looked at the book reports and is already talking about new updates that they're planning on making. So that, I mean, that's like one of the, like the big things about Kongregate is that like we really want your voice to feel heard in, you know, all the things that we're doing. And I think that's one of the big reasons why, you know, Other Ocean and Diebrary is such a like perfect game to be on Kongregate is because like you guys are like that as well. Like that's so important to you, just like it is for us. So yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you for joining us today. And thank you everyone who joined us in the chat today. And hopefully we will see you next week for Mystery Game.
Mystery game. Awesome.
Yeah. All right. Bye, y'all.